Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Wherever you are, in whatever part of the country you may be living in, I greet you and say thank you for blessing me with your presence. It is time to set your soul free with me, Stephanie. So let's see what we can be blessed with today. Today, it will be a part of introducing myself formally. If you hear noise in the background, please forgive me. I am at the hospital. My mother just had surgery, so I'm in the room waiting on her to come out of recovery. My name is Stephanie M. Rogers. I am a wife of 22 years. I am a mother, and I am a grandmother. I have an online ministry, Next Generation Ministries, and an at home bakery, both that I've had for over 17 years. I accept my calling in 2003. My calling was to be what was called an intermediate ministry, which means a person who was called, but they were not called to preach. That ministry includes youth and young adults, CYF, all the things of the title. And I knew I wanted to work with youth and young adults because I remember how it was growing up in church, just like everybody. You remember growing up in church, you may have had a youth minister who made learning fun. They knew when to be serious, they knew when to have fun, they knew when to defuse a situation. Because every once in a while, people get kind of hostile. But they made learning about God fun. And I knew that's what I wanted because I loved it when I was going to church. Because, back in those days, if the church doors was open, you were there. So when Steve Harvey made that joke about living in church on Sunday, you got church, Wednesday's Bible study, that's what it was in our house. And heaven forbid if it came a week-long revival. Oh my gosh. After that, the ministry started, and I've had people come through. I had my babies come through, which babies to me are anybody that's younger than me. And some of them now are 13, 14, 20 something years old. Still call them my babies. They still smile when I say it because they know it's out of love. Some of them now, like I said, are married, gone to college, and I'm seeing their children, which it's good because it lets me know that what I'm doing is what he called me to do if now I'm ministering to their children. I am what you would call an ordained elder. I am not a pastor, and that's the misconception a lot of people have. What's the difference between a preacher and a pastor? A pastor is someone who is over the church, which means everything goes through them. They are deciding who gets hired, who gets fired. They are the main people. Preachers and ministers are those who work up under the pastor. So if it's something that the pastor cannot perform, like he may have a previous engagement, then he would delegate that to a preacher or pastor. So if you want to go in the order of seniority, I guess you would say, in a church, it would be the pastor is the first person. Under the pastor would be the elder, which is what I am. Then under the elder would be an ordained deacon, aka minister, and then the other directories will fall up under that. I knew my call was not to be a pastor. There's too many legalities in it. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of things that go on. Pastoring is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to have the freedom to teach what I wanted to teach, talk about what I wanted to talk about, how I wanted to talk about it. And that is one of the reasons why my ministry was successful with my young people. Well, it still is with my young people because when they hear that I'm a youth minister, but then they meet me and they sit in on a session and they're looking at me like, no, I'm not like any other ministers that you've ever heard of. I know what's going on in the world. I keep in tune to the music. I keep in tune to the news. I keep in tune to everything that's going on around you. So when questions come up, I know exactly how to answer it. That's how it's been. That's how it's always will be. And they love it because it's not always scripture, They ask me a question, I'm giving them 10 scriptures. No, we're not doing that. You ask me a question, yes, my life is my testimony, and I use it when I'm ministering to them, mentoring to them, speaking to them. I'm using my life as an example so they can see, because all they know is what I am now. They have no clue the hellion I was when I was their age. All they see is what they see now. So when I tell them the stories of the things that I did, the look on their face, like, you did what now? See, that lets them know that just because you're doing what you're doing now does not mean God's not going to change your heart when you get older. Again, I have 4 children. I have an oldest son that's in his early 20s. He is my husband's son, but he is my son. Then we have our son, JJ, who is 17, our princess Trinity, who is 14, and our youngest, Stephen Michael, who just turned 12. We have 2 of our 6 grandkids that live with us, Kalia and Kalana, ages 5 and 6. It is a very busy house, but I would not have it any other way. June of 2020, I graduated with a degree in early childhood education, birth to 8. When I say, had I done what God wanted me to do 20 plus years ago, I wouldn't have been going back to school, getting this degree now. He had me wanting to do this in my early 20s, but I'm in my 20s. I'm single. I have no kids. The first thing I'm like is, why do I want to teach somebody else's children? Well, when you think of the ministry that I have, what am I doing? I'm teaching children. But when you're young, you think you know everything. So fast forward 20 years later, I'm still doing what I was doing 20 years ago, but I knew that times had changed and I needed to be refreshed on how things are being taught, how you're doing certain things, certain resources that are available. So that's why I went back to school, and it has been a blessing ever since, because I could have went back for anything. I didn't have to go just for that. I could have went back for anything, but that's what God wanted me to do. That is what I did, and He blessed me the minute I got accepted. It was just blessing after blessing. To let you know, this 40-plus-year-old chick graduated magna cum laude. I couldn't even do that in my younger years because I was so bullheaded. But I'm here with our house full of kids, not getting done till after midnight with homework. And that's because, at the time, I had to let them use my laptop so they can get their homework done. So I'm up to 11:30, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, trying to get homework done, then going to work a full-time job, and still was able to graduate with A's and B's. Tell me, my God ain't real. I wish you would. And by doing all of that, that was a good way to set an example for the youth group. Because when they're talking about, it's so hard, I can't do this, and they hate it when I bring it up. How you going to say you can't do it? All you got to take care of is you. I got a husband, I got kids, I got grandkids. And I was still able to get my homework done on time and graduate with A's and B's. I wish you would tell me you can't do something. And that's what motivated them to keep on, because they knew me. They saw me. They knew the husband. They knew they knew me. So they knew that everything that I was doing and still being able to still get the grades done. I had the bakery, so there was orders that had to be filled. I've had the online ministry, so every week, it used to be every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they would get a word, because in my mind, I start you off on Monday with your mind on God, Wednesday with your mind on God, and Friday before you went through the weekend. I made sure that your mind was on God. But as times changed, you have to adapt, and a lot of people are just not willing to do that. So I hope this helps, because I always feel when you're talking to somebody, if you're relating to somebody, that you understand that they know what you're going through. It was nice to know, okay, but who is this person? They may relate to me, but I have no idea who they are. So it's always good to properly introduce yourself, to know who you are dealing with, to know who you are listening to. So I hope that that's a start. As you get to know me, you know that I am one nugget short of a Happy Meal. It don't take much. Normally what I say comes with comedy because like I said, I know when to be serious. I know when to lighten up the load. And in my mind, laughter clears your mind, which means no matter what you're thinking, no matter what you're going through, the minute you let out that laugh for that split second, the world didn't matter anymore. You were happy. You weren't thinking of what your problems were because right then you felt joy. And that's what I do. I'm more silly than I am anything else, but that's how God made me. God made me to be that person to, I need you to break up this seriousness. This person needs to forget about their problems for just a split second. And that's all it normally takes for God to enter into your mindset and clear your mind so you can hear what He's been trying to tell you that you need to do. So, again, I welcome you. I thank you for blessing me with your presence. Anything I can do to help you get through life, let me know, because I'm in the same situation you are. We living in the same crazy, mixed up, backwards world together. So we all got to help each other make it through. Because if one makes it through, another one can make it through. And if that one makes it through, another one can make it through. And just imagine how many darkness will turn into light with people helping one another make it through their situation. That is what I'm here for. So again, thank you. I welcome you. Subscribe. You can also do the downloads. I have a pod site, Rev, R-E-V, Stephanie, Stefanie, 73pod.com. That is new and it's up and running, so it will get updated. And then I also have a blog site, RevStephanie73.com. That has more things on it. There's also a YouTube channel, but I'll give all that information out at another time. Basically, what it is I know how I am when it comes to looking for something. So I'm making sure I cover all platforms because I have some people that are good with the blog, but then I have others that do good with the YouTube. So I'm making sure I cover all platforms. So however you can reach me, you can reach me. So again, I thank you. I welcome you, and always be that light in someone else's darkness.